Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and I want to talk about the next Batman #2, Future State. Obviously, this was something completely that I didn't expect when this was first announced. I was like, I'm not going to like this. And then when the first issue came out, I was a little apprehensive, right? More apprehensive than most, I think, just because I was like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Don't mess with my Batman. I'm shocked at how good this actually was. Like, it improved upon last time, and last time was really good. I would say it's a solid 9 out of 10. It was really, really good, and it was by John Ridley, and the art this time was by Laura Braga, and it was kind of laid out by Nick Darrington. Now, I will say Laura Braga's art improved upon last time. I definitely like the art in this one more than I do in #1. And that says a lot because the art was good in #1 also. But this was just much better. It felt like the coloring was better. It felt like the way the expressions were done was better. And I was really, really impressed. But if you want to actually read this for yourself, I am going to go over it in detail. And I am also going to talk a little bit about the backup stories. So make sure, spoiler warning, click away, your time is up. Oh my God, let's get right into this. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. As always, hit that like button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. It's good. Like, I'm kind of fumbling over my words. What's new? But because it's that good. Like, we open up, and this brings a whole different element to Batman. And you'll know what I mean by the end. But because of the kind of twist ending we get here, it brings a whole different element, and it makes you question your original intentions. And I've done videos about should Batman kill or not. Not that Batman kills, I'm not saying that. But it's like, well, is there some situations where it's okay, or does that start the slippery slope? So we'll get to that. But let's take a look. We see Batman coming upon a crime scene. It's a very brutal crime scene nonetheless. Someone has their head bashed in, and we don't know why. Remember how brutal this crime scene is for the end, and you will actually understand why. Well, he goes in, and he gets the security tapes, right? And he needs to look over, but the magistrate shows up a little earlier than he had expected. So he needs to take, control of the situation. And he starts, and I love his batarangs. They're so cool looking. Like, they almost look like tiaras, like Wonder Woman tiaras, but in a bat. I don't know. I love it. So I thought, for some reason, he was kind of getting down on his luck, and then no. He comes back with his motorcycle and takes off. I absolutely loved that little thing there. But we do see his mother, who I don't like at all, from the first issue. But she's talking to Mayor Nakano, and she's like, what you're doing is dangerous. You can't shoot on sight. You can't do these things. Even though I don't like masks, meaning superheroes, you can't do this. The law is written one way. You can't go against it. And he's like, well, figure out a way. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. But, she's kind of trying to justify it, and that's what I don't like about her. If she only knew, right? So we see Jace basically hiding here, and he's kind of waiting it out, and he's got to burn his phone because the person that he's talking to, and we don't know yet, we don't know by the end of this issue, I'm assuming it's going to be like his oracle, right? She is she or he is not revealed, at least as of yet, but we see the magistrate, and they're all over the crime scene, and we see the cop from the original one. I don't remember her name, but regardless, we see her, and she's talking to the magistrate, and she's like, someone's dead over here. Does anyone care? And they're like, no, that ain't our job. That's yours. Like, the magistrate are straight up pieces of crap, but of course they are. So we see the original people that did this crime, and the brutal crime scene in the beginning, right? And they're trying to sneak away, sneak out. I'm not exactly sure. And we see Batman. Love Love, 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 love. This is beautiful. It's not only beautiful, but it's very intimidating. And that's what it needs to be. And it did a perfect job of doing that. He starts beating the crap out of them, right? He's trying to get them to submit. And finally, the girl takes off her hat and she says, "Stop. Stop. This guy," his name's like Jeffersky. This guy, he took our kid. He took our child, our little daughter." And then the man reveals his face also. He preyed upon her. He preyed upon her. He went to social media and he pretended to be somebody else that he wasn't. He met our daughter. He got into her head. He got her to visit this man, right? And then God knows what. He killed her. That was the only reason they wanted revenge. This man, in the beginning, the brutal crime scene, was killed because he assaulted and murdered a little girl. And that's what I mean by it brings a different element in. This is a real life thing that happens. This can happen. This has happened hundreds of thousands of times. These people exist to prey upon little boys and little girls. And it's disgusting, but it's real. And then it makes you question. Makes me question, at least. Can in that situation, is it okay to justify a murder? If it was your daughter or your son, could you justify it? I don't know. It really was very hard to put yourself in this girl. She's crying. What? This monster took our little girl. What else would you have us do? Especially in this fascist state that they're living in. A monster took upon and preyed on their little girl. Yeah, I can't say I wouldn't do the same. Just saying. I cannot say that if the roles were reversed and I was this blonde woman, that I wouldn't do the exact same. Her murder is, even though it's murder, is more justifiable than anything I've seen really lately at all. And it's hard, right? It's hard to actually decide what you would do. Regardless, the magistrate shows up and he says, well, it's not Batman you have to worry about. It's us. So good. I did not expect that. It was definitely a very twist. And not only was it a twist you didn't expect, it's one that made you think. And that's why I appreciate that so much. So we also have two backup stories. The first one is the Batgirls. And basically we see Cassandra being captured by the magistrate, taken to Arkham, which is the new Blackgate, right? I believe it's Arkham. She's being teamed up with Stephanie. Now, Stephanie, for what everybody knows is that she's a traitor. She went against the revolution or the revolutionaries or whichever you want to call them in. The good guys. She went against them. She worked with the magistrate. And it actually turns out, now this story was by Vita Ayla, and she did a great job. The story was really good. I do feel like she wrote the characters, even though she was supposed to in the beginning, she wrote Stephanie as very heartless. And to me, Stephanie has never been a character that's been anything but, all heart. She's all heart. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And seeing her being able to kind of get into that mask of I'm heartless, I'm numb, I don't care about the Bat family, I don't care about anything, took me back for a second until I realized that, she was working on the same side. But they actually come to realize Oracle's been missing for a long time. They actually come to realize that the magistrate has her hidden below the prison that they're in. They don't know that yet. We know that, right? And then we see Big Barda and everybody kind of for a distraction for Cassie to get down to Oracle, who they actually think is Bruce Wayne, go up against the magistrate, right? So the last little backup story here was Gotham City Sirens. And this is our first introduction to Dee Dee Prime, domestic droid Prime, which would have been the first one, right? Gross. For one, I'm just going to warn you, it's going to get a little weird up in here. But we do see, right in the beginning, our exclusive domestic droid on your command can cook, clean, and much, much more. Yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird, trust me. Basically, in a nutshell, this domestic droid was created by this Dilton luxury tech. And they wanted to create these droids to help with, they are using different technology with the cybers. They're basically AI to help you, but it's more right to keep you under control. And Poison Ivy and Catwoman really aren't interested at all, but so they make a deal with Dee Dee when they actually break in. They make a deal, and the deal is Dee Dee's obsessed with TV. The man that is there left her alone for 9 solid days. She doesn't sleep. She doesn't do any of that. So she watched shows. She watched TV. She watched Sex in the City. She watched funny comedy shows. She watched different stuff that kind of made her more human. And that's kind of how she learned to become human. Well, she loves Sex in the City. Girl, I do too. I love that show when I was younger. It was like the one show I had DVDs of. But besides Phantom of the Opera, my 2 DVDs I bought in my life. Before, Besides, Warner Brothers stuff. But basically, she takes them and she promises a girls' night out for exchange for cold, hard, real, usable facts. And those facts and evidence are her. So she's basically going to turn herself in. But there is a really, she has a good time, and we actually get to see Sam Bradley, which was so cool. He came out right before Batman did in Detective Comics. I think it was 1937 or 1938. We've seen him throughout, but it's kind of cool that they had that throwback. I'm actually surprised that people aren't throwing a little bit of a fit, because Sam Bradley was a little bit sometimes of a racist. But even so, there's one really weird part where they're talking in the bathroom, because that's what girls do. They talk in the bathroom. And she says, I know it's strange, but he said he loved me and he used to touch me. He made me feel things. Okay. They have a sex robot. I like Dee Dee, don't get me wrong. She's endearing and she's cute and she likes Sex in the City, but it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Let's just hope he cleaned her. Anyways, so basically they're at a speakeasy, Slam Bradley's speakeasy. And the magistrate finds out about it and Catwoman gets shot. And that's the end of that. But I really enjoyed the entirety of this issue. I would say the weakest part would have been Batgirl's. It felt like it dragged on a little bit too long. Just because at the beginning I was like, this isn't Stephanie. This isn't Stephanie. This isn't and then I was like, okay, this is totally Stephanie. But it did feel like it dragged on a little bit. It was like a little bit of orange is the new black, everybody's a lesbian kind of vibe. And then it got really good. But I was shocked. I still think the next Batman #1 was the best so far that I've read this week. And I've only read a couple titles. So it was fantastic. And it really, really put you in that mindset of, do you kill and is it okay? Actually, you know what? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Because it's such a hard question. And honestly, just like the maternal instincts come in me, and I would say, yep, I would torture and kill and slit his throat and cut off his dick. And so yeah, probably demonetized. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon and subscribe stars. You guys literally make this channel possible. Huge thank you to Cage the Mick, Robert Mick Twiz, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris Z, David L, David Rafford, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Mighty Balls, Mike Buckner, Maizen Barbosa, Ruskart, Ryan Decker, Robert Hoffman, and Doc Holliday. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget on the way out to like as always if you enjoy the content and hit subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.